Hi everyone, it's Claire. I'm really excited to be kicking off this TBR vlog. Welcome back, or welcome to For Lit Teachers if this is your first time. We've just reached 10,000 subscribers, so thank you so much. Yeah, and we thought we'd film this really casual TBR vlog all together, or separately, but together, to tell you what we're reading next, what is to be read. So I have 3 books here. I'm getting to the point where there's not much in my apartment that I haven't read, which is never fun. But I did select a kind of variety. So I'll start with the contemporary, or the most contemporary book. This is Johnny Appleseed by Joshua Whitehead, which Elia really kindly lent to me. And this is a book that I've heard about. It's been on my radar for a while. Actually, on BookTube, I've heard quite a bit about it. So Joshua Whitehead is an Indigenous Canadian author. He's Ojibwe and Cree, and writes, from what I understand, mostly kind of about Indigenous queerness. And I believe this is his first novel. I could be wrong, but it kind of made the rounds of prizes in Canada. And it's a story of this young man named Johnny who's off the res and trying to find ways to live, love, and survive in the big city. And I think the narrative takes place over a week as Johnny is in town to attend a funeral. And he kind of experiences some pretty intense things over that week. So I'm looking forward to getting around to this. I also have some poetry because it's autumn and it's getting cold and everyone wants to be cozy. And I have a horrible chest cough, but it's not COVID, I tested. But yeah, my whole body hurts and I just want to kind of curl up in bed with some poetry. So this is In the Presence of Absence by Mahmoud Darwish, who is a poet I really love. And he's dead now, but he was a really important Palestinian poet who lived, I believe, in exile most of his life. I know that he was a refugee when he was really young, and he became really renowned as the kind of voice of Palestine, in poetry at least. And his writing is incredibly beautiful and lyrical, but deals with some pretty tough subjects, as you might imagine, you know, loss and the land and identity and war and belonging. So I'm excited to getting around to that. I believe it's kind of a long prose poem in chapters. So that's In the Presence of Absence. And then I have a classic. This is House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. That is one of those books that I've just been meaning to read for literally so long and just haven't gotten around to it. And this is my mom's old edition that had, or it has an old French train ticket from, I guess, when she was in Paris and using this as a bookmark. So that's fun. House of Mirth is, I believe, the story of kind of like a socialite in New York City at the turn of the century, and but I think she comes from poverty and things maybe start going wrong in her life. So that sounds like fun to me. Fun classic for the darker days ahead. So yeah, that's my TBR pile, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the 3 other lit teachers have in store for their reading. Signing off.
Hey everyone, I'm Elia. I'm so excited to be doing this little TBR vlog in celebration of our 10K followers. Go us! And I'm excited to see what the 3 other lit teachers are going to be sharing. Well, here are my TBRs. So I have, first one is Son of a Trickster by Eden Robinson. I read Monkey Beach when I was in undergrad and I did really love it. I will say I'm a sucker for magical realism, so that's that. And I actually started it, and see, you can see my dog ear on page 38. There it is. And then I put it down and started another book, and I kind of never picked it back up, which I rarely do. I rarely start a book and then don't finish it. But anyway, I'm really excited to pick it up again and actually finish it. The 3-line little synopsis at the back is a compelling coming-of-age novel in which everyday teen existence crashes up against indigenous beliefs, crazy family dynamics, and cannibalistic river otters. So far, I haven't encountered any river otters, but yeah, so far it's mainly been just a teen with kind of a rough life and a grandma who thinks that he's the son of a trickster. And yeah, he's just hanging out with his mom and his mom's boyfriend. I think something bad happened to his dog. Yes, oh my gosh, something bad happens to the dog. Anyway, yeah, TBR number one. And then my second one, Butter Honey Pig Bread by Francesca Equiasi. This one is actually one of my upcoming book club books, and yeah, I'm really excited to read this. Apparently, it has excellent food descriptions, and let's see the little synopsis. So, incandescent and evocative, Butter Honey Pig Bread is an intergenerational tale. Love intergenerational tales of choices and their consequences, of motherhood, of the malleable line between the spirit and the mind, of finding new homes and mending old ones, of voracious appetites, queer love, friendship, faith, and above all, family. And I think it's kind of this like sprawling story of kind of interconnected, yeah, like family narratives between, I think it's in, yeah, so Nigeria, Canada, and the UK. And yeah, I've just heard some really good things about it, and I'm super excited to read it. So that's all for me, and see you in our next video.
Hello and welcome back to Four Lit Teachers. I'm Jackson. Today I'm going to be giving you a brief overview of some books on my list of TBR. For those of you not in the know, TBR stands for to be read, and like any literature fan, my TBR list stretches on and on. The first one on my list today is Cane by Gene Toomer. Gene Toomer wrote this in the early 20th century when he was working as a teacher in rural Georgia. I'm interested in reading this book because primarily of its sort of formal innovativeness. So it's a mixture of poetry, prose poems, and prose, but it also portrays an America that certainly doesn't exist anymore and was progressive both in form but also in vision for its time. So I'm looking forward to reading it. The second one on my list today is Dead Souls by Nikolai Gogol. So a completely different book and written by Gogol in, I think, the 19th century. I'm interested in reading this book because I love Russian literature, and I think that this book seems like it, and from what I understand about it, has that sort of like cosmic irony that I find both really existentially interesting, but also really funny at times because of the sort of like black humor that's incorporated within that sort of worldview in that time period. But it's about a stranger who arrives in a small Russian town with a proposition for the local landowners. That is, he wants to buy their dead souls, the serfs who've died in for their service and who must continue to pay taxes until the next census. The question is, why does he want these souls? What is he doing with them? What is Nikolai Gogol satirizing now? I've only read a couple other short stories by him before, including The Nose, which I thought was really hilarious and really good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. And the last one on my list today is Virginia Woolf's To the Lighthouse. And it's fascinating as a literary figure that Virginia Woolf is. I unfortunately found Mrs. Dalloway to be pretty boring, even though I can understand why it was formally innovative and ahead of its time and a product of this unique environment going on, and the setting was fascinating, London in World War One. But I really did find it quite boring to read. However, in coming to that, or in feeling that, I feel like I also am missing something about her writing, because she is one of the greats. She's part of the canon, and I feel like I owe to myself to read another thing in her collection. So To the Lighthouse is short and sweet. One of my friends read it this summer and was really impressed by it and wouldn't stop talking about it, so now I feel like I should read it. But yeah, so these are some books on my TBR list, and I look forward to updating you all on my thoughts on all of them. So don't forget to tune in next time, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time, fans.
Hi guys, so my TBR is basically a list of a bunch of books that have been recommended to me over the years, but I never got to reading for various reasons. Number 1 is Against the Day by Thomas Pynchon, which my high school philosophy teacher recommended to me quite a long time ago. It starts at the Chicago World's Fair of 1893 and goes until just after World War I. taking place in New York, London, Venice, Vienna, Siberia, and Mexico, among other places. I've always been interested in tackling it. It's just very long, so I tend to get kind of intimidated by that sometimes. Maybe on my next vacation I can bring it along with me and work up the courage. Next is 15 Dogs by Andre Alexis, which my close friend bought for me a bit over a year ago. It won the Giller Prize and was written by someone who's also a poet, which I find interesting. The premise of it, let me pull it up here, is Zeus's two sons, Apollo and Hermes, come up with an extraordinary wager. They'll instill select animals with human intelligence and communication skills. If at their life's end any of the animals is happier than he or she might have been, Hermes is the victor. If, however, human intelligence leads to more misery than contentment, Apollo will prevail. It's decided that the fortuitous 15 will be 15 canine patients of a nearby veterinary clinic. Looking forward to that one. Then I also have Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, which my sister absolutely loves, both the novel and the TV show, though I'd prefer to read the novel before watching the TV show. It's a dystopian novel and has kind of some mixed reviews online, though I like that it starts with a character from Toronto. I'm also from Toronto, and here somebody was also comparing it to Stephen King's The Stand, which I also haven't read yet, but heard is pretty good, but in a much shorter and bittersweet format. The structure is that of a jigsaw puzzle, with scenes varying in place and time between a theater where King Lear is being staged, a corporate office where a lonely executive assistant is drawing a series of graphic novels titled Station 11, and so forth. So yeah, it seems pretty interesting. I'll have to buy that and get started on it soon. So thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you guys soon.